Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. In my seemingly never-ending quest to bring you the world's best value watches, I have scoured the earth for nuggets of pure bargain horological gold. As such, I have bought now genuinely countless watches from firstgearbest.com and more recently AliExpress as part of that quest. Not all of them cut the mustard, so to speak. Not all of them end up being reviewed on the channel. Those that don't end up in the drawer of shame. There's a bottom drawer over there filled with my rejects, basically. Perhaps there's a video in there somewhere at some point, the drawer of shame, the stuff that doesn't make it onto the channel. It's not often though that I buy a watch knowing that it's going to end up in the drawer of shame, but that's what happened with this Guanchin Submariner clone. Now, Guanchin make a decent watch. I've reviewed the GJ16034 in the past and highly rated it, modded it, put snowflake hands on it. Really, it was the first of these Chinese watches with Seiko movements and sapphire crystal that kind of opened my eyes to the potential value there. So I couldn't quite believe my eyes when I spotted this one on Ali. I hastily added it to my cart, paid for it and had it shipped to me here in Sydney for fear that they would realise their error and pull it from sale. But they haven't realised their error, or should I say errors. Not one, but two epic level typos on the dial. Let's flip the camera and have a look. Right, while I'm opening the box, let's have a look at the listing on Ali. $99 US, that's what I paid for mine. I hope you all find this amusing, otherwise the joke today is very much on me. Three kind of classic subby clone colorways, the blue, the green, and I opted for the plain black one, and I must say it is not a bad looking watch in the flesh. Now that is epic level photoshopping, so not only do we have epic level typos, but epic level photoshopping going on here as well today. Now it does look pretty much like every other Submariner clone that you have seen up till this point in your life, but I have to say it is quite well done. Certainly stacks up reasonably to its peers. In fact, I have been gathering sub $100 Rolex clones, homages, whatever you want to call them, with a view to making a video as to which one I think is the best. We've got a couple of Paganis, Invicta, L'Oreal and Guanchin. Let me know if you fancy seeing that one, or I should open it up a little bit further. By bringing in the Duro, some Vostoks, there's a Timex I reckon as well, and making a top 10 divers under 100. Leave me a comment, let me know what you would like me to do with all of this lot. Anyway, back to the Guanchin. Classic Submariner clone dimensions, 40mm in diameter, 48mm lug to lug, 13.5mm thick, 20mm lug width, tapering down to 16, back up to 18.5 at the clasp, bang on 150 grams. Stainless steel case, crown, bezel, full stainless steel bracelet with solid links, solid end links, screw links, and much like the Paganis that I've reviewed recently, they do a kind of Rolex attempt clasp with a bit of micro adjust internally and a flip-flop there, which is actually not too bad. Some of the Pagani ones have been really stiff. That one's pretty stiff, but it is actually quite workable. The movement in this one is a Miyota 8215, it's sapphire crystal, and we have a ceramic bezel insert, usable cyclops, and a bit of lume on the hands. Like I said, it's pretty well spec'd and pretty well made for $100. But the typos, oh the typos. Starting with cheronometer. Now it's clear what they were going for here. It's a Rolex clone, so it should be chronometer as in superlative. Chronometer certified to -4 to +6 seconds per day, though Rolex cased them at -2 to +2 seconds per day. Perhaps you remember I reviewed the $22 Tevez Submariner clone way back at the end of 2017. That one was a superlative ceronometer. Perhaps Guanchin were trying to outdo Tevez by offering you a cheronometer for a mere $99 US. And what makes it worse is they didn't have to put anything on the dial there at all. It's not a chronometer, there's no reason that they should be trying to advertise chronometer certification when it clearly doesn't have it. But the one that intrigues me and amuses me the most is Guanchin since 8500, printed underneath the triangular index at 12 there. I just don't get it. Now, I've studied quite a bit of Chinese history over the last few years, and I thought, oh, perhaps there's some statement being made here about the length of continuous civilization in China, but no, I can't see that working at all. And I briefly researched Chinese watchmaking, the history of Chinese watchmaking, and indeed, there are some fabulous looking water clock towers dating back to around the 10th century CE, but that doesn't make sense either. Again, I'm just not sure what's going on, and I don't think the designers at Guanqin know what's going on either. Like I said, when I first saw this one, I was convinced that they were going to pull these from sale because no company surely could make such monumental errors on the dial of their watch and be okay with it, but hey, it seems that Guanqin are okay with it. Bit of a shame because for $99 you could certainly do a lot worse than this. Miyota 8215, not my favourite movement in the world, as you probably know by now, but it's not too bad all things considered at this price, and I would rather have it than a Seagull ST16, for example. It's a bit of a known quantity. This one hand winds, but it doesn't hack, suggesting it's one of the older Miyota 8215s as well. There is even a bit of workable loom on the hands and the indexes, and on that loom pip at 12, though clearly they have outsourced their ceramic bezel insert because it doesn't match, and when I crank up the speed, it's the only thing that you can see on the dial after about 10 minutes anyway. But these do make great starter watches. If you're just getting into watch collecting, I would highly recommend picking yourself up one of these cheap Submariner style watches. It'll give you an idea of whether you like this style, the size, the shape, the weight, etc. And you can begin your watch collecting journey from here with a better idea of which direction you want to go in. But I'm just not sure how many people will actually stump up 99 bucks for a watch with not one but two typos on the dial. So my friend, it's the drawer of shame for you. So there you have it, the Guanqin Cheronometer, a fine way to spend $92 US, assuming you have a sense of humour. I'm not quite sure what was going on here. I'm not quite sure that Google Translate did them any favours in this case. My mind boggles that any company doesn't do a bit of research, doesn't cross-check with a native speaker and say, hey, how you doing? Can you just check that this works in your native tongue, please? Anyway, a bit of a shame because it's not a bad watch. If I had come across this watch maybe 2.5 years ago and it hadn't had the typos on the dial, my mind would have been blown. But as it is, there are probably better ways to spend your money than this one. You could always redial it though. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in a future video.